Hey guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things makeup and mundane related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, I'm going to bring you my first Throwback Thursday. If you want to see the palette that I worked on today and everything that I'm going to be chatting about, let's go ahead and get on into it. So, for today's video, that was the Nomad Verona Amore y Morte palette. It's the Love and Death palette, because I don't want to have to keep saying that. Originally, this was supposed to be a palette bingo, and I'm so sorry that I did not do that, but I ended up just using the whole side. So if you don't know what this palette looks like, it does open all of the way. Let me try to not show you the mirrors. So this is what the palette looks like. We have the love and the death side. So let me close the side that I did not use. So for today's look, I used this entire side. So like I said, originally it was going to be a palette bingo, but I want to no pan left behind as many palettes as I can at the end of the year. So I used this entire side of the palette. And I should have filmed me doing this look, but I didn't, so I figured we could just talk about it, and I'm so sorry. But let me just cover up this mirror a little better and we can chat about it, because I have feelings. So first and foremost, the mattes in this palette, fine. They were a little powdery, but like they worked fine. I started with this light pink in the upper part of my lid to set my eye primer. Then I went in with this pink, which was really nice to go on top of it. Then I went in with this pink, which was like directly in my crease here. Then I took this more pinky red shade to define my outer corner. Then I went in with this darkest shade here to deepen the outer corner. And I took the red shade in the center on my lower lash line. So the mattes were great, honestly. I really enjoyed the mattes. They worked well. I liked them. Now what I didn't enjoy, which I think was the majority of what people had a hard time with, were the shimmers. They are extreme. It's like they have hard pan already. Like, let me bring you in. I'm sorry if this is shaky, but if you see my look, I think the look came out really nice overall. I think the shimmers look nice. I did put them over my NYX glitter glue. Let me just set you down gently. So for my regular primer, in case you're new here, that is my Clinique Light Canvas, which I'm almost done with. That was for the mattes, and then for the shimmers, I used the NYX glitter glue, which I think was a really good canvas for the shimmers. I just personally feel like, let's take this bottom shimmer. This is what I had to do to get any on my finger, and then you have to pat them on the eye. For this one, for these two shimmers, you have to swipe them on the eye. And then you had to layer. I had to probably layer them 3 or 4 times to get the pigment that you see on my eye. Which, like, isn't the end of the world, but it's just, I don't think I've ever had to put that much effort into shimmers. Especially not Nomad shimmers. So I can understand why people were upset with this palette, because that's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. But I do think that the look came out really pretty. But I can get this look from other things. Specifically the shimmers. Like the mattes, beautiful. But I don't know if I would ever dip into these shimmers again. Especially because, like, you can see if you look at them, or at least I can, like, especially at this angle, like, they look like they already have hard pan in them. And that's just how they felt when I used them immediately. Like, they are so ungodly hard pressed. But the mattes are absolutely beautiful. Now, I do still need to use the death side, which I will try to remember to film that, and I might just add that on to this video since it's very short. I'll try to actually film me doing my look with this side, but I really hope the 3 shimmers on this side are not as hard pressed because I love this side better. Like this color story, I just enjoy better. So I will give my full final thoughts after I use that side and have the full palette. And you know what? That's what I will do. I will wait to post this until I have my full final thoughts. But that's my thoughts on the Love side of the palette. Mattes are great. Shimmers are bleh. So this is the look for that side. It did turn out, but that's going to do it for this half of the video. Let's roll into the Death side. Alright, so you've already seen part 1 to this Throwback Thursday, which was with the Nomad Love Death palette, where I did the pinky red side. So now we have the Death side of the palette, which looks like this. I did use every shade in the palette to create this look. Plus on my inner corner, I used Sugar Drizzle Blueberry Tart because I just didn't think there was a light enough shimmer on this side for my inner corner. But to talk about this side, as I got pen all over my desk. But to talk about this side of the palette, I loved this side so much more than the pinky red side. I'm just trying not to blind you with the mirror. So I started with this light gray to set my primer. Then I went in with this darker gray to just like define the shape of my eye a little bit better. I went in with the cranberry shade to really just, in my crease, in this outer corner, basically all over my eye. And I buffed it out with this, it's like a lighter cranberry purple shade. And then I deepen the outer corner with the black. The black is pigmented. You can blend it out, but it's pigmented. I took the dark blue on the lower lash line, blended it out with this light purple. I took this blue shimmer shade as like my waterline liner, and that actually works really nicely. And then I have this shade on the outer corner, outer third, this shade on the inner third, like middle, and then like I said, my inner corner is that loose shadow, loose pigment. So, mattes, though they're powdery, they have a lot of kick up. They're pigmented, they blend well, they're really nice. I believe I said that about the mattes on this side. And I think this color story is way more curated than the red side, the pinky red side, because this just doesn't have enough variety for me. I really like this side. The shimmers on this side perform miles better than this pinky red side. I did not have to dig into any of these shades. Maybe this like dingy gold a little bit, but this shade barely had to touch it. This shade barely had to touch it, and I even used that one with a brush, and it was wonderful. This one, just a little bit, but even then, I only had to go in with like 2 or 3 layers, not, 7 that I had to do with the shimmers on the pinky red side. And you can even see the difference, I hope. Like, these look already like they have hard pan, where these don't. So this side is wonderful, like miles different. So definitely love this side more. The palette as a whole, I don't know what to rate it. I love the mattes. Like if I could just take the mattes out and I would keep like, I would only keep like this shimmer. Realistically. I love the colors that these shimmers are, but they don't perform at all, so I wouldn't keep them. And I wouldn't keep all of these mattes. Even though they perform nicely, I wouldn't need them all. But if I could depot these, I would. Because I hate this packaging. I'm just going to say it, like, I love the artwork, but I hate when palettes open like this in the middle, personally. I don't need the double mirror because I don't even use mirrors in the palette to begin with. So, I don't know. I feel like I should rate it like a 7, an 8 out of 10. Because the only thing I really dislike are the 3 shimmers on the pinky side. Everything else, wonderful. So, like, take that as you will. But this is the second look. Going forward for a Throwback Thursday, I'll try to either do a palette bingo. I'll try to do a get ready with me. This one, I just really wanted to use the whole palette, get my thoughts on it, because DW wanted this palette if I didn't like it, and I'm so sorry, but I am going to keep it. I love you. And the only palette in my collection that I really feel that I could compare, like, because unless we're just comparing pinks and reds and blues and purples, I do have the Jeffree Star Lollipop Killer, and I feel like this kind of embodies both, if we look, because it has, alright, try not to blind you with the mirrors, but it has the pinky purples, but it also goes kind of deeper with the cranberry. And I feel like those 2 shimmers right there are very similar. So this is the only palette in my collection that I feel embodies this palette. But even then, it's not similar enough that I feel like I could declutter this Nomad palette, per se. And I do like it, and my whole rule with palettes like this is, as long as I like at least, you know, more than 50% of the palette, then I feel comfortable keeping it, and I do. I only don't like those 3 shimmers, so 9, 18, so that's way more, that's way less than half the palette, so I am going to keep this, at least for now. Maybe in next year's declutter we can talk about it again. Maybe I'll have found something that I could dupe it with at that point. But I did really enjoy it, and I like this look. I will also say, I don't think this, like, dingy, antique-y gold belongs with this color story. Like, I just don't think it goes with the look. But I think in the palette, it's fine, especially because, like, I'm never going to use these shimmers again. I might try to find a way to use them, but I feel like that would pair with these better. But I don't think it pairs with this color story. Like, if you're going to use the entire 9 pan, I don't love it with it. Like, it's not horrible. It's not the worst thing in the world. But let me turn the lights up so you can see the sparkles and shimmers. I had the lights turned down so that you could see the palette in its proper lighting. But this is what the look looks like. You'll have to let me know in the comments, which look do you like better? Do you like the love side or the death side? Which look did I do better if you have this palette? Which side of the palette do you enjoy better? And yeah, that's going to do it for this Throwback Thursday. Like I said, this is not how they're going to be structured going forward. This is like a first and only special edition of this one. Unless you like this setup of where I use the whole palette, I do 2 looks. Let me know. Let me know. Because otherwise, going forward, I'd like to either do a Get Ready With Me or a palette bingo with said Throwback Thursday palette. So, otherwise, that is going to do it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.